So I'm going to try to break down the things that you do not want to do when you interview. And I apologize. There's some bad words and things like that in this short 5-minute video, and it's going to be a little bit longer because I'm going to explain some parts. But I think it's maybe the best example of what not to do in an interview, and basically too, like there's really bad interviews out there, and maybe I can find a couple for you. But it's being funny because it's showing this is everything you do not want to do in an interview. This is it's intentionally supposed to be funny. So, but I hope that you can learn something from this. Let's take a look.
Take a break. We just need to have a word from our sponsor.
Washington is broken. The truth is, too many politicians are totally controlled by special interests and lobbyists. We're going to make America great again. I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
He approves the message.
Why would you play a commercial from my opponent in the middle of our interview?
He paid me in steaks.
I'd be afraid to eat them if I were you.
It's a good cut of meat. I think it's part of the asshole. Well, this has been a lot of fun, Mrs. Clinton. We should stay in touch. What's the best way to reach you? Email? Let's kind of stink, though.
Okay, so if you don't know anything about Hillary Clinton, she was supposed to beat Donald Trump in the 2016 election. So 原来就是希拉蕊就是应该2016年就要成为总统，但是川普赢了，他当选了。So Trump somehow beat Hillary Clinton, and this is a sore subject, this interview, and it's kind of a joke, right? He's purposely being a jerk, but she actually, one of the reasons why she lost the election is because there was this email problem that she was on her private computer. She was looking at emails in a way that breaks rules. So 其实原来有可能希拉蕊原来应该要赢，但是好像主要的原因他就是他败选了，就是因为好像他用自己的电脑来在看一些政府的 email. So when you're interviewing someone, make sure you do your best not to talk about things that are going to hurt somebody's feelings. You need to do research and kind of know what things that you can talk about and what things you should stay away from. 有一些东西是要避免，因为是地雷啊，所以就是希拉蕊不要谈到 email， 不要谈到川普。Okay, let's keep on going.
Can't run, 3 times.
No, actually, I think it's a good idea. If I ran a third time, it'd be sort of like doing a third hangover movie. Didn't really work out very well, did it?
I think people focus maybe too much on your looks and don't even, realize that you're just a shitty actor.
Next question.
You know what?
Okay, so with Obama, Obama was actually making fun of the interviewer himself, but also too, you can just tell the interviewer is not prepared. Don't you think it's sad that you can't have 3 terms? This is something that you could find online. What does Obama think about having more than 2 terms as a president? Because there's the rule that 只能有2个任期, right? You can only have 2 terms. 就是总统只能当总统8年, right? You can only be a president for 8 years. So this is just a very, very stupid question. It's something that gets debated all the time, and there's lots of information out there. So it's a question you don't even need to ask because the answer is online. So don't ask questions that have already been answered. You're trying to look for interesting questions that allow something to learn something new about this person, and something that the person's going to be passionate about. And then with Brad Pitt, that's just a mean comment, right? So there's really no need to be mean. And if you're going to ask something that's a little bit sensitive, you got to be careful with it. Say this movie didn't perform very well. Do you think that maybe it was better than the way the audiences see it, or do you think that there are some reasons for why it performed poorly? You should be polite if you're going to bring up something that's a little bit more on the sensitive side.
If I were president, Mr. President, I would make same-sex divorce illegal. Then see how bad they want it.
I think
You affectionately refer to your fans as beaners.
No believers.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Tell me what it
Okay, that's the one of the most important parts. Don't miss up. Don't make mistakes. Don't mess up easy stuff. Something that's easy is believers. Not beaners, not beanies. Right. These are little things that they're everywhere. If you do a little bit of a Google search, if you look up this person for 20 or 30 minutes, you'll find out that he has fans that are called believers. Right. So little things like that, you have to know the very basics about somebody. And if you don't, you're probably not going to have a very good interview.
Like the first time that you laid eyes on Angelina, was it like one of those classical love stories, like when, I don't know, when Ross first saw Rachel? You know that show, Friends? Have you seen
I like that song.
As secretary, how many?
Okay, so at this time, Brad Pitt was still married to Angelina Jolie. And why this would be a terrible question is because he's talking about Friends. And Friends had Brad Pitt's ex-wife, Jennifer Aniston. So you're bringing up the character of his ex-wife when you're mentioning his current wife. And now, he's divorced from Angelina Jolie, but that's just a no-no, right? You have to know where the dangerous spots are, and you have to know enough about someone's life to understand what are some topics that you probably shouldn't bring up.
Per minute, could you type? And how does President Obama like his coffee? Like himself? Weak?
Zach, those are really out-of-date questions. You need to get out more.
What happens if you become pregnant? Are we going to be stuck with Tim Kaine for 9 months? How does this work?
I could send you some pamphlets that might help you understand.
First, you supported Obama's Trans-Pacific Partnership deal, and then you were against it. I think that people deserve to know. Are you down with TPP?
I'm not down with TPP.
No, you're supposed to say, yeah, you know me. Like the hip-hop group.
Don't tell me what to say.
Fine, lose. Country goes to shit.
You shave your head for
Okay, so here we go again. Hillary Clinton is clearly a feminist, right? 就是希拉蕊，她一定是女性主义者。如果她要就是变成那么厉害的政治家，她都是一定要很强大，她不能一直被男生欺负，right? So Hillary Clinton cannot be someone who gets picked on, and she's become a successful politician because she's tough. So there's a couple of different mistakes right here. First off, he's being very, very sexist, right? 就是非常的重男轻女, right? And then another issue is that he clearly doesn't even know what it means to be the Secretary of State. Okay, Secretary of State is not 秘书. Okay, Secretary of State is one of the most important roles in the country, and I'll look up that word. I forgot what the Chinese word is in a second, but it's like a 秘书不会泡咖啡, a 秘书不会打字, right? So a regular secretary has to type words and do make coffee and stuff like that, right? But he doesn't even know the person's job. Okay, and that's very, very important. You need to know what someone's job is and know what their responsibilities are before you come to the interview. Of course, you can ask them questions about their job, but you need to know the basics and what they do at their job.
for Vendetta. Did you also shave your V for vagina?
Inappropriate. Don't talk like that.
You got your start doing theater and independent films.
I did.
And now you're acting in Marvel movies. How good does it feel to sell out? Do you think you play smart characters like Sherlock Holmes because you have one of these, these faces? Let's just get a close-up here. It's a face that can go either way. It can use inductive reasoning to solve mysteries, or it's the type of face that masturbates all day wearing a helmet. It's a fine line. If you didn't have an accent, do you think people would be able to tell that you're not a very good actor?
Yeah, no, I think my accent probably does help. That's true.
No shit, Sherlock.
Okay, so there's another thing, assuming that someone is good or lucky or has a certain role, because of an accent or because they're pretty, things like that. That's a no-go. People work hard for what they have. So just respect people's hard work and know how hard work got them to where they are. So it'd actually be very, very good and useful to look up someone's life story to understand the challenges they've overcome and how hard they've worked. So 就是如果你要懂一个人，就是要懂，就是他克服 什么样的困难啊，什么样的挫折，要就是看他从年轻到现在，就是他遇到的不同的挑战，然后他怎么克服的一些挑战，right? So just don't assume that someone is good just because they're lucky, right? Know their story because everyone's had their struggles.
Your superhero character is called Captain Marvel.
Yes.
Well, they really have stopped trying, haven't they? I mean, why don't they just call it Captain Comic Book or Captain We Can't Think of Anything Else?
And what would your superhero name be? Captain Crunch? The Bulk?
Like the Incredible Bulk?
Yes.
Well, all of those you just said are much better than Captain Marvel. I read online that you're very private and declined to answer. Do you research your roles?
Yeah. Have you ever considered researching a character that has taken acting classes?
Right now I'm acting like this is fun. How am I doing?
Sometimes I get a little bit.
Okay, do you research your rules? If you're someone who's good at what you do, of course you research. As a soccer player, before a game, and I'm semi-professional and I have a job and stuff like that. But before my last game, I watched a whole game between my opponent and a team that they beat pretty easily because I wanted to know all the different challenges I'm going to deal with as a goalkeeper. So 就是因为我是班级的球员那如果是职业，我会看到更多的影片，但是我都是比赛前我一定会看至少一场就是对手的继承的比赛，因为我要懂就是他们的优势、缺点啊，然后他们怎么进攻啊，比较危险的球员什么的。I need to know everything about the other team, and so I need to at least watch one game. So the best actors are researching their roles. They're looking into a lot of different things. They're looking up the character's life story and trying to get understand about what their job is, where they're living, all these kind of things, like dumb questions that show you're just not prepared for your interview. Be prepared.
Miffed by the types of people that I have to interview come in with an attitude as if they're better than.
I have come in here with no attitude at all. You told me I'm a colonial
You're a
bastard.
colonist.
Yeah, I'm like,
Look at your moustache. I mean, you look like a colonist.
coming from the Yeti. What the fuck?
Now you're calling me a Yeti.
Your face is covered in hair.
Now you're insulting the Greeks.
Get off your fucking trip.
I don't have a trip.
You do.
want-
You're saying my facial hair means that I'm a fascist.
I said colonist.
Oh.
You're the one that's saying fascist. If you want to go that way, if you'd rather be called a fascist, fine.
No. Yeah.
If you want to be a fascist, your mustache could use a little trimming.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? On this side and this side.
Sure,
Right here.
Sure.
I'd like to thank my guest, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Say yourself.
Thank you for coming out. Well, I'm not done. Hey! My guest today is Benedict Cumberbatch. Benefit Lumberjacks.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
That's what it is.
Okay. Thank you so much for watching this video. The end is actually the most important part. I thought the Beliebers thing where he gets the group of fans wrong, but this is actually the most important thing is you have to know the person you're interviewing. You have to know their name, right? And if you watch his show regularly, he often messes up the name of the person he's interviewing, of the interviewee. And so it's critical. Go online, watch YouTube videos where you hear hosts speak their names, listen to interviews where the person says their own name. You gotta get the name. The most important thing is the name. 就是最重要的东西就是对方的名字啊。如果你不能，但是如果你对方的名字是念错的话，那是最基本的错误，就是最应该不要犯错的问题 right? So do not make a mistake on someone's name. You have to know it. You can be really, really bad at everything. You can have a terrible interview, but at the very least, right? 知晓就是最基本的要求就是一定要名字一定要发音要对的 right? Your pronunciation of the person's name has to be correct because if you can't do that, you're going to offend people. And this I see this in interpretation and in translation. If you want to be a good 口译员, right, interpreter, you have to be able to know how to say people's names correctly because the most important thing to people often is their name, right? And so you can do a terrible job translating or interpreting, but at least if you say everyone's names right, people are going to be happy because people love hearing their name. But when people hear their name wrong, they're often pretty upset about that. So look up people's names and look up a little bit of the basic information on this person just so you can avoid some of the more embarrassing mistakes. Thanks, guys.